This is a CBC podcast.
Hey Canada, we're looking forward to the byword from Ottawa. It's the Debaters! The Debaters, where comedians fight with facts and funny, and this audience picks the winner. Now here's a man who is always in the market for laughs, Steve Patterson.
Hey! Hello again, Canada. Welcome back to the Debaters. And here we are again in Ottawa. It's good to be back in our home away from home. And you are also home to a farm inside city limits. True story. Yes, it's a one-of-a-kind 400-hectare site called the Central Experimental Farm, which is an ominous name, but it's also the only farm where the farmer can catch an Uber out to the barn. It's nice that there's a place in Ottawa for lumbering living beings to be put out to pasture, you know, besides the Senate. Anyway, let's meet some farm fresh debaters, shall we? This comic will talk when his mouth is full of jokes. It's Don Kelly. Don Kelly. There he is, Ottawa's own, back with us again. And this comic is so good, she should get a federal grant. It's Jennifer Grant. Jen Grant. All right, Ottawa, this topic is about Ottawa. Does this city have the worst nightlife in Canada? Now, Jen and Don, you two are both from here, so you should know.
Yep.
Based on my own experience here, I'd have to say the city in Canada with the most difficult nightlife is Yellowknife. I don't know if you've ever been. We've been there. It's either day all night or night all day. If you go there in winter and tried to drink until sun up, you could die. Believe me, I've tried. This is the right time to debate the nighttime. So, whereas it's a city full of bureaucrats and early bedtimes, be it resolved that Ottawa has the worst nightlife in Canada. Jen, you're arguing for this. You have 2 minutes, please, starting now.
Okay.
Jen Grant.
Listen, I love Ottawa. I grew up here, but the nightlife is so bad that people go to Hull to party. Hull, where gold chains on top of black turtlenecks are still in style. Ottawa doesn't have the sophistication of a big city, nor the careless fun of a small town. It's too small for Beyoncé to visit, and too big to get a really good pickleball tournament going. Number one on the list of things to do in Ottawa is skating on the canal. Well, not the number one thing to do at a 6-year-old's birthday party. Let's be honest and admit that all of us just go through the motions of skating so we can eat fried dough with cinnamon and sugar doused all over it. If you ever want to see what the zombie apocalypse looks like, go out after 6 p.m. in Ottawa. It looks like the city is in a state of emergency. Just last month, Environment Canada issued an extreme cold warning, and Ottawa was reported to be the coldest capital in the world. In the world, you guys. Colder, they're all proud. Colder than Russia, Kazakhstan, and Mongolia. Who's going to go out when you can literally die? We don't have the worst nightlife in Canada. We have the worst nightlife in the world. That's it.
Jen Grant. Jen Grant on the Ottawa nightlife. Thanks, Jen. Now, to tell us that you ought to go to Ottawa for the nightlife, it's Night Owl Don Kelly.
Ottawa has the worst nightlife in Canada? The worst? Jen Grant, you owe Canmore, Alberta an apology. trying to steal their crown like that. That's their claim to fame. Or, hey, you know what? I grew up near Steinbach, Manitoba. If you know Steinbach, Manitoba is a dry town. No booze in Steinbach. The Steinbach tourism slogan, hey, there's no night like a Mennonite. Now, I know nightlife because I love cities, and I realize that's a little weird. I'm a native Canadian. I'm Ojibwe. I'm supposed to be all about the land and nature, but no, I am a true urban Indian. My spirit animal is a giant tiger. So I say with authority, Ottawa has great nightlife. First of all, we get a lot of it because in winter, night starts at 4 p.m. So you can head down to one of our wild Irish pubs. Ottawa, we have more Irish pubs than Irish people in Ottawa. And St. Patrick's Day is great in Ottawa, especially for me because I am a Kelly. I get free drinks everywhere on St. Patty's Day. And yeah, sure, I'm Ojibwe, but on St. Patrick's Day, I am Ojibwe. You know what, Jen? You said it. You're right. If you don't like Ottawa nightlife, you can just go to Hull.
Don Kelly! Don Kelly, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good sign. It's pretty close. It is time now for the bare knuckle round. We are debating if Ottawa has the worst nightlife in Canada. So I think it's a capital idea to get a liberal dose of laughter, although you might encounter some opposition. You can call your shots and lob some Jager bombs. Those are drinks. They're it's an alcoholic drink. Just remember that many are called, but few are chosen to get there. So let's get out there and disco toe-to-toe and nightclub your opponent with some serious beats. Or we'll get redo you now.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, I gotta call out Jen Grant on a technicality here. You're from Ottawa, but you live in Wakefield now. And yeah. But no, you live in Wakefield, and you're dissing Ottawa's nightlife. Like if it weren't for the Black Sheep Inn, you guys would be hanging around the well every night, exchanging stories while you're loading up your buckets.
You know what, Don? That would have really hurt, but since I've been in Wakefield, I've been doing yoga. And I'm just a better person. Anyway, we are not a party town. We don't have a good nightlife. Go to St. John's, Newfoundland. Have you been there? Oh, yeah. They have, rituals. They do screech. They, kiss a cod and stuff. Here, what do? Espresso shots just to be alert and conservative? What are we doing?
Well, it's true, but you know what? We got great music festivals. We got, Blues Fest, always ahead of the season, right? And I love it because Blues Fest, you can go see authentic old time bluesmen like Kiss and Foo Fighters, you know?
Oh yeah, good. Great blues. Jen?
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, the Rolling Stones, I just read this, decided to go to Barrie for Canada Day. Not here. They're even 75-year-old men are Ottawa's lame. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, I'd like Ottawa to have a better nightlife, but you can't always get what you want.
That's as good a time as any to stop this one. Yeah. That's the bare knuckle round. It is time now for the firing line. In my hand, I have a list of questions on Ottawa's nightlife, brought to you by the suburban Ottawa neighborhood, Barrhaven. Barrhaven, which I learned the hard way, despite its name, not a haven for bars. Ottawa hotspot, the 27 Club, holds what claim to fame? Jen?
If you are 27 and you go there, you will die of boredom.
I can't verify whether that's true or not, so half a point. Don Kelly?
The 27 Club. It's only 26 spots away from being Ottawa's number one hotspot.
That's good. That's good. I'll give a point for that. Well, Jen Grant, you might be surprised to know that it was used to shoot the Rolling Stones Streets of Love music video. So they did come here. Many of you are probably their children. According to livingincanada.com, Ottawa's nightlife is quieter and more laid back compared to what? Don?
Being dead.
Don, you're arguing for the According to livingincanada.com, Ottawa's nightlife is quieter and more laid back compared to Toronto and Montreal's nightlife, which is a weird thing because let me tell you, everything's laid back compared to Montreal's nightlife. Popular for birthdays, bachelor parties, and other group outings, Ottawa is home to the world's largest what? Jen Grant?
Sinkhole. Remember that?
That's true. That's a true thing. The actual answer is home to the world's largest escape room. Doesn't that sound glorious? That's the firing line, Ottawa. We're getting close to that magical time where our theater audience places their votes. But first, here again to tell us that she loves the nightlife and she loves to boogie. So Ottawa's no place for her. It's hardy partier, Jen Grant.
As the capital, we are a conservative bunch. We let our hair down, but we do it behind closed doors, like well-respecting, repressed civil servants would. Ashley Madison, the website for married people looking to have affairs, revealed that Ottawa is the most infidelity-friendly city in Canada. Bureaucrats have early bedtimes. Okay. Okay. Bureaucrats have early bedtimes because they have so many beds to hit, you know what I'm saying? Bottom line, the nightlife is so bad here, it's ruining marriages, okay? So, if you want a better nightlife, throw on a gold chain and go to Hull.
Jen Grant, everybody. Jen Grant with some good points on why Ottawa is the worst nightlife in Canada. Now, to tell us why Ottawa late at night is great at night, here's Lounge Lizard, Don Kelly.
Ottawa has a vibrant nightlife because of the diversity. People from all over the world come here. And hey, you ever party with someone who has diplomatic immunity? We got our own saying in town, if the license plate's red, we'll party naked. All right, I got to bring the hammer down here, folks. If there is any doubt that Ottawa has great nightlife, I called my close personal friend, who also happens to be the highest authority in the land. Take a listen to this.
Hello, Don. This is Mayor Jim Watson. As Mayor of Ottawa, I officially proclaim that Ottawa is a party town. Woo-hoo. Party.
End of message.
Spoken like a true Ottawa party animal. It's official. Ottawa nightlife rules. Party on, Ottawa.
Don Kelly. Oh, yeah. Wow. Wow, what a closing argument that was. Calling in a favor from the mayor? All right, audience, it is up to you to vote by applause. Who thinks that Don's Ottawa nightlife notes nailed it? Don Kelly. Wow. Pretty excited. Pretty excited. All right. And who thinks Jen's anti-Ottawa clubbing claims clinched it? Jen Grant. Nice support on both sides, but this is definitive. Ottawa, I can tell you with certainty, you do not have the worst nightlife in Canada, according to tonight. The winner is Don Kelly. Big hand for Don Kelly and Jen Grant, everybody.
You're listening to The Debaters on CBC Radio. Did you know you can get past episodes of The Debaters on iTunes? Go to cbc.ca/thedebaters to find out how. And now, back to Steve Patterson.
Hey, Meridian Theater, are you ready to meet your next pair of debaters? Beautiful. Then let's welcome a fish named Adrian. It's Adrian Fish. Adrian Fish, making her way to the stage, going over to my right. She looks ready to spring into action. We consider this comic in Arthurian legend. It's Arthur Simeon. Arthur Simeon. Your topic focuses on relationships. Should you ever take back an ex? Now, the reason we're doing this here in Ottawa as a city has some experience with this. You took back your ex-hockey team 54 years after they broke your hearts. The Senators left in 1934, and 50 years later, you started a campaign to woo them back. And just like an ex, they promised this time it would be different. And it has been. Because before they left, the team won 11 Stanley Cups. And since they came back, 0. Now, before this crowd breaks up with me, let's move on to the topic. So, whereas relationships end for a reason, be it resolved, never take back an ex. Arthur, you're arguing for this. You have 2 minutes, starting now.
Thank you. No one in this room would wear clothes from Zeller's, or use a BlackBerry, or go to Blockbuster for their movies, because these are things of the past, and so are your previous relationships. Let it go. It was never that good. Find someone new to annoy. Taking back an ex-lover is going back to the restaurant that gave you food poisoning, but bringing your own spoon thinking it was the cutlery that was the problem. Taking back an ex is ultimately risking your health, because the first thing Canadians do when they break up with someone is to go to Europe or Asia or the Caribbean to find themselves, which just means banging everything in sight and bringing home souvenir t-shirts and syphilis. Taking back an ex is hoping that they've changed. It's just stupid. It's dumb. Samantha will always be a snake. I'm sorry, Steve. What are we debating? Yes. Truth be told, taking back an ex is admitting that you're a failure. That in this day of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tinder, LinkedIn, recreational sports, hiking clubs, dive bars, buns, public transport, Uber, Lyft, Skip the Dishes, and Christian Mingle, you couldn't find someone else to touch your genitals and share a Netflix account. Thank you.
Arthur Simeon. Wow. Now that is how you end an opening argument. Nice job. Now, to tell us that your mate is just an ex you haven't taken back yet, here's a couple of minutes from Adrian Fish.
Thank you, Steve. You know, on the topic of exes, I've recently split with my lady, and let me tell you, it was a loss. You know, a loss of half of everything, half my heart, half my soul, and really, most devastatingly, half my rent. You know, I might be forced to live in some dingy basement apartment with 5 other pube-shedding millennial boys. And so I asked myself, what's so bad about taking back my ex? You know, sure, I can't really, stand the sound of her breathing, but I'm 33. Do I want love or do I want natural light? And I get it, a brand new relationship. Isn't it exciting? Isn't it passionate? Isn't it a lie? The person who you're falling in love with at the beginning is a far cry from the complete gong show of a human who you're actually going to end up with. Why wait 7 months to figure that out? With an ex, you start off let down. Instead of beginning with high expectations and watching them crumble, it's pre-crumbled. Store-bought, pre-crumble. On sale for the lowest bidder, which is you. So as the ancient Chinese proverb teaches us, the swiftest horse can't overtake a word once spoken. Which means, and I'm paraphrasing here, Steve, your ovaries are rotting, so stick with your ex.
Adrian Fish, ladies and gentlemen. We got ourselves a debate. It's time now for the bare knuckle round. We're debating whether or not to take back an ex. So for you two partners in crime, it's time to diss and make up jokes. Keep in mind that you might be losing, but you could easily rebound. And remember that it ain't over till it's over. And once you've said your jokes, there are no takebacks. If you think there are, you're simply separated from reality. So may divorce be with you. Let's get together.
Well, Adrian, I have an African proverb for you, okay? It says, never fetch water with a basket, okay? Because baskets are porous, and getting back with your ex is kind of like using an old basket to fetch water. Now, listen, I know this proverb doesn't make any sense, but so does taking back an ex, okay? To be honest with you, taking back an ex is really like eating your own vomit. It's disgusting, I know, and so is taking back an ex.
I don't know. Taking back an ex is true. It is kind of like eating, I wouldn't say vomit, but it's like eating leftovers, you know? That's kind of, you don't want to eat dried chicken or congealed cheese. But why would you want to cook a brand new meal? What if you spend all this time cooking a meal and then it sucks? You could have just had leftovers. They were good once. I mean, granted, they're not going to be as good the second time, but stop being so picky.
That's all I got.
Okay, that's the bare knuckle round. It is time now for the firing line. In my hand, I have a list of questions on never taking back an ex, brought to you by Barack Obama, the ex many Americans wish they could take back. Here are your questions. What is it called when a couple continually breaks up and gets back together? Adrian?
Foreplay.
Is that what that is? Arthur?
Maple Leaf fans.
Some love there. That's the first time I've heard the Senators fans sound cocky all night. When a couple continually breaks up and gets back together, it is a cyclical relationship. After breaking up in 2006, Prince William and Kate Middleton reconciled at a party with what kind of theme? Arthur?
Colonialism.
Oh, well played. Prince William and Kate Middleton reconciled at a party with a Moulin Rouge-themed bash called Freakin' Naughty. In a worldwide study of reunited couples, 72% of couples who married the same person a second time also did what? Adrian?
One of the bridesmaids. Twice.
The audience is given 2 points for that one. 72% of couples who married the same person a second time also stayed together. There you go. And that's the firing line, everybody. We are so close to the time for our audience vote here in Ottawa. But first, here again to tell us that she loves being reunited and it feels so good. It's more loving laughs from Adrian Fish.
Thank you. You already know how it feels to fail with your ex. And there's some solace in knowing how it's going to feel when you break up again, which will happen. I'm not saying that when you get back together with your ex, it'll last. No. That's not what's at stake today, Steve. Should you get back together with an ex? Yes. Will you break up again? Yes. And probably quicker the second time. They're still a loser, or maybe you are. It's really hard to tell. So sure, the start of a relationship can be great, magical, passionate, but I say start at the end. Because here we are, at the end of my argument. And damn it, Steve, I sure hope this isn't goodbye forever.
Oh, well, that was nice. Thanks, Adrian. Adrian Fish, ladies and gentlemen. Now, to tell us why, when it comes to relationships, X certainly doesn't mark the spot. Here's dating dynamo Arthur Simeon.
Getting back with an ex is like going back to a restaurant that gave you food poisoning and hoping that changing the cutlery will save you. Taking back an ex is ultimately risking your health because the first thing Canadians do when they break up is go to Europe or Asia or the Caribbean to find themselves, which just means banging everything in sight and bringing home souvenir t-shirts and syphilis. Yes, taking back an ex is like repeating the same jokes in your closer as you did in the opening, hoping they would be different this time around. It doesn't make any sense. When I tell someone I'm breaking up with them and I would see them in hell, I truly mean that. The only time I want to see them is in hell or in Belleville, which is the same thing. Thank you.
Arthur Simeon. Bringing it back around. It is up to the audience to vote by applause. Who thinks that Arthur's "don't take back an ex" explanation was the most excellent? Arthur Simeon. Woo!
Can't really hear it.
Okay. Big support here for Arthur. And who thinks Adrian's recouple chuckles didn't buckle Adrian Fish? The audience has spoken. I hope they don't break up with us because they do not want to take back an ex. The winner is Arthur Simeon. Big hand for Arthur Simeon and Adrian Fish, everybody. Well, that's all for this week. I'm Steve Patterson saying thanks to everyone for sticking with us all this time, though it feels like we have been doing all the talking. I'll argue with you again soon, Canada. Good night.
The Debaters, created by Richard Side. Produced this week by Graham Clark, Nicole Callender, Katie Ellen Humphreys, and Josh Bailey. Technical production by Jean-Sébastien Villeneuve and Conrad Hijazi. Executive producer of CBC Radio Comedy is Tracy Rideout. And thanks to everyone at the Meridian Theatres at Centrepoint in Ottawa. Hey Cornwall, Ontario, we're coming to you on October 20th. For details, visit cbc.ca/thedebaters.
For more CBC podcasts, go to cbc.ca/podcasts.